Hello everybody, my name's Jeff at Mountside Media, and today we're going to continue the series of videos where we talk about transferring over from shooting in automatic to shooting in manual settings and how best to understand what's going on. So let's dive in, shall we? In this video we're going to talk about ISO and its place within the exposure triangle. Now, on your camera, ISO may be adjustable in either 1/3 of a stop or whole stop settings. And as with a lot of these settings, this will affect how many stops of light you gain or lose. If you double the ISO number, you will gain a stop of light in exposure. And likewise, if you half the ISO, you will lose a stop of light. If you don't understand what stops of light are, have a look at my video about stops of light and exposure up here. In film cameras, the ISO number was related to the film, and a low ISO number meant that the film had a low sensitivity to the light being collected, whereas a high ISO number would mean that the film was more sensitive to light, a low number being 100, a higher number being maybe 3200. A low ISO film, like ISO 100, would be less sensitive to the light, but it would have less chance of showing grain, whereas a higher ISO film, like a 3200, would be much more sensitive, but you may see much more grain within the photographs. In digital photography, ISO has a similar effect, but instead of relating to how sensitive the film is, it's a measure of how much gain or amplification is applied to the signal, the light, once it's reached the sensor. As with film, using higher ISO numbers within your digital camera can induce more noise, or that grainy look, in your photographs. This is because when you raise the ISO to lift the exposure of your photo, you're also lifting any inherent interference that may be present within your camera's system. Let's take a look now at these images taken under constant lighting conditions, and we'll see the effects of ISO changes on the image. Also note that I compensate for the exposure value by altering the shutter speed to keep the exposure value constant against the ISO changes. For each stop of ISO I adjust one stop of shutter speed. Also, if there isn't a lot of light signal present because it's dark and you raise the ISO, you may also notice more noise or grain in the images because of that lack of signal. In modern cameras, higher ISO numbers are achievable, and you may not notice this level of noise so much simply because processing is better and the inherent signal interference within the camera is reduced, so they're better compensated for. It's also worth noting that in cameras with larger sensors, noise isn't so much of a problem. And by larger sensors, I don't mean more megapixels, I mean physically larger sensors, like the difference between a full frame camera and a crop sensor camera. We'll cover these differences in a later video. As ISO makes up one of the three sides of the exposure triangle, any adjustment to it for correct exposure must be balanced against the other two sides. I hope this video has helped you gain a bit of a better understanding, and if you like what I do and if you'd like to see more, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel, and with that I will see you again next time. Thanks for watching, goodbye.